control. Another win. That is not all we are here for. This is an Olympics test event.
Committed to the evolution of ski mountaineering, now and for the future.
Welcome to Villars in Switzerland for the final mixed relay of the 2026 ISMF World Cup season. In the year that the discipline made its Olympic debut, the very event it was created for, it's an exciting and pertinent way to close out the 2026 season. We're racing here at 1,800 metres of altitude at the Col de Bretagne, high above the resort of Villars, situated in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, tucked in the southwest corner of the country, not far from the French border and the famous Lac Léman. No stranger to an international ski mountaineering event, Villars hosted the World Championships in 2019, the Youth Olympic Games in 2020, and several World Cups since 2018, hopefully with many, many more to come. I'm Katie Friend, and I'm joined here today by two-time world champion and former member of the Spanish SkiMo team, Mireia Miró. Good morning, Mireia.
Good morning.
This is the mixed relay format. If you found us this season and are a little unsure, well, teams are made up of one woman and one man, alternating laps throughout the race. Each athlete completes two laps of the same circuit, handing over to their teammate in the transition zone after every lap. The course includes several short climbs, technical descents, and repeated transitions between skinning and skiing. It's a fast, high-intensity format where positioning, clean transitions, and pacing across repeated efforts are critical. Team that crosses the line first after all the laps are completed takes the win. And we will be a little shorter than 45 minutes today. It is a fast and furious event to follow. Competition data today, as we can see, starting at 1,800 metres, as we said, it is 151 metres of vertical, 81 in the first uphill, which you can see on section A there, transition to the downhill on the right hand side, and then they will be using the same route as they had yesterday on the sprint race, as you can see here, a little bit off-piste, lots of nice technical kick turns. Janneke Kerr, the race director, former Swiss SkiMo team member, and exceptionally experienced in both being an athlete and a race director now, as well as being a coach. He had 3 athletes on the start line at Milano Cortina this year, so quite a lot of experience up through the sprint course from yesterday, up that steep section and then into that boot pack, which is just footsteps in the snow, back down here, following what you may or may not have seen with us as we were on air yesterday. And into the finish line. Well, it'll be transition 3 times, then the finish line. Mireia, we've had qualifications here The B final is actually happening after we're finished today, which is unusual, but a strong field. It's not just about individual strength, though. It's about how the teams work together.
Totally. The mixed relay is, I think that it's a very beautiful discipline because it's a team of two, one man and one woman, and it's not just about the individual performance. Exactly as you were saying, it's about how the team performs together, and this is the beauty of this discipline.
And we've seen qualifications. We only have 11 teams here today because only 11 nations represented. There were 11, as I say, going into the final A, and we can only have one team per nation. Few surprises: Marianne Faton and Loïc Dubois not racing today. Thibaut Anselme not with Emily Harrop. The world and Olympic champions have split. Thibaut racing with Celia Peria-Pessé. Alba and De Silvestro and Michele Boscacci of Italy racing together again and up for the overall title. And Johanna Hiemer and Paul Verbniak of Austria racing their very last race together as she retires after this. So lots to look out for today.
Lots to look out. It's the last mixed relay of the season. There's a lot like playing, as you were saying, the Italian team for the mixed relay ranking, and some teams that this will be the last race together. So it will be, I think that it will be a really interesting race to follow.
And we are looking here at highlights of the course of the qualification rounds. Those three young men there that we saw just having a very lovely time leisurely going around because they knew that they were probably the second choice for their nations. But here we are. This is final A's, the lineup. Tatjana Paller and Finn Hirsch of Germany, Johanna Hiemer and Paul Verbniak of Austria, Alba Di Silvestro, Michele Boscacci of Italy, Caroline Ulrich and Jon Kissler of Switzerland, Yuri Tanaka and Hagiwara of Japan, Ana Alonso Rodrigo, Oro Cardona Coll of Spain, Carson Leys, Arthur Whitehead of the United States, Celia Peria-Pessé, Thibaut Anselme of France, Eva Matejovicova, Filip Matejovic of Czech Republic, Leia Ansion-Havet and Max Pamitjavila of Andorra. And who did I miss out there? Of course, Nenka Ostra and Jens van Vliet. There they are on our screens of the Netherlands. Leia Ansion-Havet and Max Pamitjavila Dordet of Andorra. The team's been given their marching orders there. Eva Matejovicova and Filip Matejovic, brother and sister from Czechia. Thibaut Anselme and Celia Peria-Pessé. Probably could have guessed by that farewell that they are actually a couple as well as teammates. Representing the United States of America, Arthur Whitehead and Carson Leys. Third place at the Olympics, Ana Alonso Rodriguez and Oriol Cardona Coll from Spain. Tanaka Yuri and Hagiwara Haruki of Japan. The graphics are actually putting them a different way around, so just in case you are a little bit confused, that is Caroline Ulrich on the right and Jon Kissler of both of Switzerland. Jon Kissler silver place with Marianne Faton at the Olympics. Alba Di Silvestro and Michele Boscacci, another family connection there. They are married to each other, and very emotional day for this pair, Johanna Hiemer and Paul Verbniak. Johanna Hiemer retiring after this race. They had their first win of their career just recently. Tatjana Paller and Finn Hirsch of Germany make up the final team. They are the most experienced combination. As we see here, Ninka Ustra been on the Dutch team since 2022. And some great experience. What is really interesting to me, Mireia, and we'll just touch on it briefly, but maybe talk about it later on, is that, you know, a lot of the teams have their set formats and the people, you know, the Austrians, the Germans, and the Italians very much sort of set with their teams, and the others still having a bit of fun seeing who races well together. And as we know, I mean, it's the final, but it's the pressure for the Olympics is off now.
The pressure of the Olympics is off, and now some countries, I think that they are trying new pairs to see how they perform, to see how the potential. It's true that this year many pairs were already formed from the very beginning, also last year, because it was kind of this Olympic path, and the countries really wanted to have a solidified team that knew each other, and now we are seeing some new pairs that very probably the countries are trying.
Absolutely, and here we are, silence, 12 seconds to the start. And they are off. The women leading us out, as usual, in the mixed relay. It's the final mixed relay of the final event for the ISMF 2026 season, and a bit of a tight squeeze to come around that banner right at the start there, Mireia, as I think Ana Alonso takes out ahead of Johanna Hiemer and Caroline Ulrich.
A little bit of a squeeze right away the start, but everyone handled it super well, and it's Ana Alonso first, but Celia Perilla-Pesay passing Caroline Ulrich just on the right of Ana Alonso, on the right of our screens, leading this relay, first uphill of this relay race.
And it's all to play for, of course, because obviously both the men and the women have 2 laps, but it really sets the pace for the rest of the event, doesn't it, Mireia, when the women get a good first lap in?
The first lap, it's quite important on the mixed relay race, even for the mental part, but also it's quite key, the first lap, and it's quite key that then for the other for when the relay is passed to the men.
So out here in front we have Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain in the red uniform. Behind her, what we can actually only see here, that is Johanna Hiemer in the green and black. That is Celia Perilla-Pesay in the French uniform with the black helmet. Behind them, Caroline Ulrich in red. Alba de Silvestro in the light blue, just gone round the kick turn. Really nice to see some sort of off-piste proper kick turns with sort of emulating a little bit more what you would see on a high mountain race here with the different tracks.
I think that this is a very beautiful relay track, because on the first uphill we have these quick turns, more kind of replicating ski mountaineering on mountain and what we can find more on individual races. And then we have the second uphill that is the sprint, that uses the sprint track, which is faster, steeper, and more direct uphill. So it's really a good combination and a really good balance for this mixed relay race. And this track, it's really amazing because of that.
Settling a little bit into their rhythm now. Ana Alonso at the lead, Johanna Hiemer in behind her, Celia Perilla-Pesay, Caroline Ulrich, Alba Silvestro, and Tatiana Paller, perhaps exactly who we would imagine to see at the front of this race.
We are very used to see these women fighting to each other on races, and here we see the strongest countries that there are now on the mixed relays. All of them are here. All of them are here in the fight. Ana Alonso and Johanna Hiemer start super strong, trying to lead this first group. Celia Perilla-Pesay, Caroline Ulrich just behind, and also Alba de Silvestro and Tatiana Paller. But just a reminder that it's Johanna Hiemer last race, Johanna Hiemer from Austria now in second place, and I'm sure that she wants to finish on a really high note, also coming from the last relay race of the season a week back, where they got the first victory for the Austrian team.
Yeah, because a super experienced team, the Austrians, Johanna Hiemer and Paul Verbniak, but just shy of the podium so many times. So how fitting that they should win their first one a few weeks ago in Val Martello on such an interesting course as well. And they head off down here, and it is Ana Alonso with Johanna Hiemer hot on her heels. Caroline Ulrich, I think, has gone into third there as she comes down this. How does the snow look to you today, Mireia? A little bit grippier than yesterday?
It looks, I would say that even if it's now 11:15, that the sun is already up, it looks a bit hard, the snow. In the first uphill, we were seeing on the quick turns that they were not as easy as they seem. Some of the athletes were slipping a bit, and here also on the downhill, we could see we could hear with paying attention the sound of the skis on the snow, which means that the snow is a bit hard.
And here in transition, so this is the second descent for the women. Now they are going to tackle the course they know quite well. They were all on it yesterday in the sprint race. And this is their second ascent, 70 meters. And here they will take on the boot pack as they go up this part here. What difference does it make having done this part of the course before?
The difference that it makes is that you already know it. I mean, your mind already know it. I don't know if maybe some people have already seen in other sports athletes visualizing, for example, on rock climbing, on a downhill ski. For example, in the Olympics, we see it a lot. Athletes visualizing the downhill, athletes visualizing the uphill. So it makes a huge difference when you know what's coming, when you know exactly what's coming, because they did this circuit yesterday, some of them 3 or 4 times, because many of them that we have here on the final A arrived also to the semi-finals or finals of the sprint. So it's really the mind already knows the circuit and knows how to manage the effort better than when you don't know what's ahead of you.
Álvaro Silvestro going into the lead there ahead of Johanna Himmer. Ana Alonso Rodriguez dropping into third. Caroline Ulrich and Celia Peria-Pese behind her, and still Tatiana Paller holding on to the leading group. Now, this is where we start to think about tactics, because we know, for example, that Michele Boscacci and Paul Verbniak are perhaps not the fastest at the shorter disciplines. So here are Álvaro Silvestro and Johanna Himmer getting in front so that their teammates can have a little bit of an advantage over who's coming in behind them, which will be Aurel Cardona-Coll and Thibaut Anselmet and Jon Kissler, because those are some fast, shorter discipline athletes.
Alba de Silvestro, we saw her on the first uphill a little bit behind of the group, like not behind, but she was not leading the group. And she did a really fast transition, putting the skins on. Then she did like accelerated, and we see that this second uphill, she's changed the rhythm, and she's got in front, she's leading the second uphill, she's doing super fast transitions. And as we were mentioning just before, the mixed relay race is a team race, meaning that it's not an individual race that you do by yourself. It's how one adds to the other, one athletes add to the other, and for sure that there's some strategy between them.
And Álvaro de Silvestro, of course, this week has already been crowned the overall individual winner of the ISMF season 2026. It's a title she'd won before but had not won for a few years. So we know that in the roots of her sort of experience is a longer distance. So perhaps, you know, the slightly longer format of the mixed relay is good for her to sort of get going towards the second part of the lap.
Alba de Silvestro is an excellent skier in individual races. She's been on podiums in the individual races since I can remember. And she's a very complete skier, both on uphill and downhill. So I think that this mixed relay effort matches her better than the sprint relay, than the sprint effort. Even if this year she has doing some really great sprints and we have seen her in some finals, still the mixed relay, I think that it's a discipline that matches better the qualities of Alba.
Absolutely, and she just won the Tour de Retour, a very iconic long-distance SkiMo race. She won that with the great Axel Gachet-Molleret, which what a team combo that is. But here she goes, into the first handover. The rules here are that teammates have to hand over by touching the backpack or any part of the body of their teammate. And there goes Michele Boscacci, and he is away as Jon Kissler and Oriol Cardona call. Wait, and it is Oriol Cardona call out just ahead of Jon Kissler. Now, this is a battle we saw in the Olympics, isn't it? Those two athletes, the Swiss and the Spaniard. That was quite the battle.
That was quite the battle, and we've seen many battles between Spain and Switzerland on the past mixed relay. This year especially between Oriol and Jon Kissler, because they were forming the Olympic teams of each country. So on the mixed relays this year, they were already racing against each other. Jon Kissler, that is coming more from the sprint discipline, so he was like he's starting to learn more and more and gaining more and more experience from the mixed relay, but for sure Oriol is a more experienced athlete, so we have had great battles between them this year.
Talking of battles, Thibaut Anselme has made his way in between the Spaniard Oriol Cardona Call and Jon Kissler of Switzerland. Those three men on the podium with their teammates at the Olympics. But look at Michele Boscacci go. What a gap he's creating. I mean, he's created.
Michele Boscacci has a beautiful gap here, for sure, that when you have just behind Oriol Cardona, Thibaut Anselme, Jon Kissler, or even Paul Berbignac now in fourth place, moving forward, Jon Kissler, you cannot relax yourself. It is true that Alba de Silvestro make an excellent second uphill and second downhill and already passed Michele with a bit of gap, and now Michele needs to try to maintain that gap with the group that it's going chasing after him.
On the left-hand side of our screen there, we see the handovers towards the back of the pack. That was the Americans, Carson Lays handing over to Arthur Whitehead. And they are at the back of the pack there. That looks like Filip Matiovic taking over from his sister, Eva. Michele Boscacci, the gap is closing. Oriol Cardona call, Thibaut Anselme, Paul Berbignac, and Jon Kissler closing in. A bit of a slip there from Thibaut Anselme as they try to find the right line.
We see them changing. There are three lines, like three tracks for the uphill. The athletes can choose and change however they like. So we've seen that yeah, some of them were trying to find the best way to progress and the best track to progress, and it was a bit slippery there, so it indicates that snow is a bit hard on those places, very probably.
Beautiful transition there from Michele Boscacci as he heads out, giving himself a bit of a push. One of the greatest ski mountaineers in the history of ski mountaineering. Still the current record holder for the Patrouille des Glaciers, which is happening next week from Zermatt to Verbier. I know that the Swiss athletes, Rémi Bonnet, Aurélien Gay and Martin Antematten are hoping to steal that back from the Italians to take the title back for Switzerland. But Michele Boscacci certainly has given us so much to talk about and to watch over the many years of his career.
It's one of these athletes that has had a very long career in ski mountaineering. He started racing on international circuit when he was under 18, meaning very young, and he has seen the sport evolve in many ways. He has won the overall World Cup. He has participated on many disciplines in long distance, short distance, and it's always a pleasure to see these athletes with such trajectory still battling so hard and so well on the newest disciplines and shortest disciplines.
Absolutely, and it is a little bit neck and neck between France and Spain, and then, but just behind them, Austria and Switzerland. But Michele Boscacci holding a really great lead here, but it looks like Thibaut Anselme and Oriol Cardona Call are absolutely hunting them down as the French go into second place.
They are not letting Michele go, that's for sure, and Thibaut and Oriol are a dangerous couple. We see them now on the screen. Michele leading, then Thibaut just followed by Oriol, and then Paul and John Kisler. Yeah, for sure. That is having Oriol and Thibaut just behind, like they are two sharks, to say so.
Yeah, and Michele Boscacci doing a lot of running, is having a little look behind him there, because I think that's more running than we have usually see him doing, and he's now gone into his more traditional sort of long strides. He is very powerfully built, so he's got a lot of leg muscle, but the two behind him have also, in fact, the three behind have also slowed to gliding, but really interesting to see Michele Boscacci doing as much running as that. It is not his normal gait, and there he goes again.
Here we have a change of inclination. There was a steeper part. Here it's a bit flat, and even if it's a bit flat, it's still a steep. So changing the pace, it's you have to be really in shape to be able to do this change of paces, and it's also a risk on a race, because on how you manage the effort. For sure that these changes of pace from kind of more walking to running pace, it's tiring and it pays a toll, so it makes part of the race management.
But holding off Oriol Cardona-Coll there, who just managed to overtake Thibaut Anselmet. Thibaut Anselmet had a little bit of a slower transition than he would like, struggling to get his skis into his pack. But here comes Oriol Cardona-Coll up behind Michele Boscacci. This part we saw yesterday is super steep.
Super steep, and yesterday we were seeing many athletes sleeping here, like having a difficult time on this section, because athletes also, it's the last uphill section of the track, so athletes usually arrive tired, which means that the technique is not as good as when you are fresh. But both Michele and Oriol managed to pass it well.
Oriol Cardona-Coll's skins not playing ball there, just taking a little bit longer to get those in than he would have liked. But he has created a bit of gap between himself and third place. Thibaut Anselmet, Paul Verbniak out behind him. Finn Hirsch in transition now, joined by Jon Kisler, gone into sixth.
Seems of a bit of a difficult day today for Jon Kisler. We are not seeing him as fresh as in other occasions and in other races. Let's hope he gets still some power for the second lap.
Absolutely, because it's one of the things about the mixed relay is that in between their laps they have got to try and recover as quickly as possible, but while keeping themselves still warm and muscles rearing to go. It's a difficult one, that.
It's super difficult. I mean, it's one of the hardest things to manage of the mixed relay, is that you do a 10 minutes effort, 8 to 10 minutes effort, then you have 8 to 10 minutes while the partner is doing their lap, and then you have to go again. And 8 to 10 minutes effort at a very maximal pace, it's a tiring thing. So it's one of the things that the athletes need to manage, to not get too excited on the first lap and have some energy for the second.
Yes, and of course, because we know this is even more challenging for the women, because mostly, generally speaking, their teammates go around faster than they do, so they have an even more reduced amount of time for recovery.
A reduced amount of time of recovery, and also a bit of a longer effort time. So for sure that for them it's a bit more difficult to manage. Also, they are starting all together, and this is a fact that it's also very important, because it's different when you start all together, that you have really to manage kind of the start moment excitement, versus when you get the relay passed, as now for example on this lap, that the race is already a bit more stretched, the positions, like for sure that there's fights and battles and playing positions, but it's different. So the race for the women and race for the men, even if it's the same race, it's a bit different on management terms.
Alba Di Silvestro out in front. Ana Alonso Rodriguez closing, literally a kick turn between them. And Johanna Hiemer of Austria has gone into third place ahead of Celia Peria-Pesset of France. looking very close at the top here.
They are very, very close already from the first uphill. I think they have 3 quick turns before arriving to the transition zone, and we see Alba de Silvestro and Ana Alonso keeping this super fast pace. Joanna Himmer trying to close on them, and Celia Perilla say that she's having a bit of a harder time in this second lap, falling a bit behind Joanna Himmer. But Alba de Silvestro and Ana Alonso now on the screens, they have an excellent pace, both of them.
So Alba de Silvestro, Ana Alonso, Johanna Himmer, Celia Peria Pesse, Caroline Ulrich and Tatjana Paller. 3 pairs of, sorry, I'll put my teeth in, 3 pairs there. So the leading 2, the middle 2 and the 2 at the back. Of course, there are actually 11 teams on track, on course today, representing 11 different nations, but these are the 6 to watch as we come up here to the top of the first lap, the first descent of the second lap for the women. Ascent, not descent.
And 20 minutes of the race have gone by, and we see the same 6 women that we saw on the first uphill of the first lap, so on the minute 5 of the race. So this shows how close these countries are on level, and sometimes the difference is just a better day versus a worse day, some transition mistakes, some little details really, because all of them in terms of physical level are really close to each other. All the teams, not only the women, also the men, they are all very close to each other.
Alba de Silvestro out first. And off she goes downhill ahead of Ana Alonso Rodriguez. Of course, to remind ourselves, the Italians are in the lead ahead of Switzerland in the nations rankings. They have 246 points, the Swiss 235, the Germans 199, the Austrians 173, and then joint, but in behind them, Spain and Poland. An unusual nations ranking, we were saying earlier, Mireia, because normally we would see France right up there, but after the Olympics, I mean, really this season they did Boitaoul and the Olympics and now this, so not as much racing for them this year.
This season has been a bit different. We have been the last couple of seasons where the nations were like kind of competing to get the Olympic spot, and now that the Olympics, like this season that we had the Olympics, countries have used different strategies. Some teams were already qualified, so at the beginning of the season raced less on the mixed relays. After the Olympics, the same. Some teams or people like stopped in the Olympics. So it has been a bit of a very different season when it comes to the mixed relay, when it comes to the sprint, when it comes to the both Olympic disciplines.
And here they go, the women up onto their final ascent. Alba de Silvestro still leading Ana Alonso Rodriguez. I think we saw Johanna Himmer go out there, just in case you were wondering. That was a Dutch uniform in transition, but that was the Dutch team being lapped there. As Alba de Silvestro breaks into a run, Ana Alonso follows suit as they head out on this last lap. Last part of their last lap. To remind you, the final B will be happening after we go off air. You can follow that on the ISMF social media, and you can see what happens there. There are 7 teams competing there today, those that didn't qualify for this particular race. And then, which I'm sure you won't see on social media, but there's then the Villars organising committee very often put on a coaches mixed a relay race, which is very, very fun. Mireia, did you ever witness that or take part in that?
No, I was thinking, what is that exactly?
Oh, it's so fun. Well, when all the actual athletes have finished, they put the coaching teams from the countries, anyone who wants can put together a bit of a relay team, and off they go and they do the course, and it's great fun. It finishes off the the race in a really fun and informal way, and everybody gets really behind it. And you know, of course, many of the coaches are former SkiMo athletes, so it's really fun to experience.
I didn't know about it, but yeah, truly it sounds super fun and a super fun way to end the season for everyone.
Into the boot pack for the final time for these two women, Alba Di Silvestro of Italy leading Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain. Extraordinary seasons both of them have had to get here. Alba Di Silvestro working so hard to get from her long distance speciality down to being an expert at the relay. Ana Alonso Rodriguez coming back from a terrible injury in October to be on the podium twice at the Olympics, and she takes off just ahead of Alba Di Silvestro as they do this very last steep part.
Alba de Silvestro had a bit of a slower transition there, like to take off the skis of the backpack. She was a bit slower, then to put them, the boots on the skis also. And Ana Alonso did a super fast transition and managed to get just in front of Alba de Silvestro. Both athletes look very tired. We can see it by their faces now. It's just the end of the mixed relay. Last race of the season, last downhill for both of them. I think that really they want to cross this line.
Absolutely, and they will be heading down here, staying safe. Alba Di Silvestro, I could have predicted that would happen, is such an experienced skier, and off she goes, overtaking and creating a gap on the way down back to handover for the last time to Michele Boscacci.
With Alba de Silvestro, you cannot relax. I mean, she's a very skilled athlete on technical uphills, on downhills, and so she has always something prepared.
And it's interesting because until this season, we haven't actually seen very much overtaking on the downhills, but I feel like we've seen more and more of that perhaps it's being built in to the shorter courses to allow for a little bit more excitement in the downhill.
We've seen more of that this season. I agree here, and yeah, I think that it brings a lot of excitement because downhill, when passing on the downhill, it's always a more risky move. So it brings a lot of excitement to the shorter disciplines.
It is, and we saw there one of the Czech athletes just slightly get in front of Alba Di Silvestro as she was trying to hand over to Michele Boscacci, which is was a little challenging, but we also saw that Thibaut Anselme has taken off just there in third, but he has got some distance to go to catch the leading pair there, which are Oriol Cardona-Coll and Michele Boscacci.
Wow, and the three teams, Switzerland, Germany, and Austria are making a great fight. We saw the three women arriving at the same time, at the same second, passing the relay to their teammates. So just behind this first group with Oriol and Michele Boscacci and also Thibaut Anselme, there's a big fight for the 4th, 5th, and 6th place.
But look at this. This is Michele Boscacci sitting right on Oriol Cardona-Coll's skis. I mean, this is not something we see very often. Look at him holding on to the Olympic sprint champion and third place in the mixed relay.
The races are not over until the finish line, and Michele is such experience that he knows that. So he knows that any mistake Oriol can make, it can be a chance also for him. And even like you never know the day that the other athlete is having. So you need to be there if you want any chance. And Michele is taking that chance, not letting Oriol open any gap and fighting this first place until the very end.
Michele and Alba have won 2 mixed relays between them. Anna and Oriol 6 overall. So a lot of experience there between the 2 pairings. As we see, it's now looking like those back 3 closing in on Thibaut Anselme, just at the back there. So it is France with, I couldn't see in which order, but Austria, Germany and Switzerland all battling now for 3rd place.
And here we have a bit of a technical part. All the athletes struggle a bit on this part of this uphill. We are seeing Michele losing some meters from Oriol here, but it's a part that we've seen every athlete, all the athletes struggle a bit.
Back into a run as they come into this top transition, the highest point of the course. About just short of 1900 meters.
Really fast change from Michele Boscacci, trying to not let Oriol open much of a gap. Let's see if he will be able to handle Oriol on the second uphill.
Thibaut Anselmet of France keeping his lead there behind the three remaining contenders in the race. As we see coming into transition, Paul Verbniak and Finn Hirsch behind them. I think that is, yes, in fact, it will be Jon Kissler. Getting ready for this final uphill for the men for the entire race. Oh, and Oriol Cardona Call having a shocker with his skins there. Not often we see that, Mireia.
We don't see it often. We've seen here how important the transitions are on such a format, so fast format, and we see Thibaut just on the putting skins on. But Michele Boscacci enters second behind Oriol on the transition zone, and Oriol did this little mistake. It was not a big mistake. It was just 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but we see how crucial and important they can be. And now Michele Boscacci was able to exit first, but Oriol is not letting that go, and he's just now closing the gap, passing Michele and gaining again the first position.
And behind them, Thibaut Anselmet on his own, currently in third place. Oriol Cardona Call putting in a final push, the last climb. Michele Boscacci, just a little bit of a gap there, and up behind him on the far left of our screens there, we just saw the yellow helmet, the other yellow helmet, not the Italian one, but the French one of Thibaut Anselmet.
Thibaut Anselmet that was closing the gap with Oriol and Michele. We've seen on the times on the race times. He exited the skins transition 20 seconds. He enters 20 seconds from the downhill to put the skins on. 20 seconds behind Oriol and Michele, closing 10 seconds from the change of the relay.
Oriol Cardona Call and Michele Boscacci racing with their long-term race partners, and today Thibaut Anselmet racing with Célia Perea-Pessé. It's not the first time they've raced together. They've raced twice before, and they've been fourth, and they were second in the European Championships in 2024. So he has only won alongside Emily Harrop, but it's certainly not the first time that that pairing has been on the course together. It's a beautiful day to be standing in the sunshine waiting for your teammate to come down, isn't it, Mireia?
Indeed it is, indeed it is. We just saw Anna and Alba looking up already with the work done, just waiting for their teammates to arrive. That's a good place to be now.
Absolutely. And it looks like the Spaniards are going to finish this season exactly the way they would have hoped. as Oriol Cardona-Cole comes down here in Villars to the final transition. I mean, we know anything can happen, but he has got a good gap over Michele Boscacci.
Indeed, Oriol opened a really good gap with Michele on the second uphill. He did a really good job, and now he has the time for it.
As Oriol Cardona-Cole crosses the line for Spain and takes the win alongside his teammate Ana Alonso Rodriguez, making this a 7th win for them. Overall, Michele Boscacci and Alba Di Silvestro second today, but will take the overall win for this season. Thibaut Anselmet and Célia Perea-Pessé for France, third step on the podium. A great day out for them. Some great racing from everybody as we wait here to see it is to finish Johanna Himmer's career. What other place would they be in but fourth? It would have been nice to see them on the podium again, but they are fourth place, and behind them Tatjana Paller and Finn Hirsch of Germany. And there we have our top 5. Great scenes here in Villars. Ana Alonso Rodriguez winning the final race of the season. What a season she has had. So it was an exceptionally well-managed race by Alba Di Silvestro, particularly, I would say, Emilia.
Totally. I mean, from the start to the end on the 2 laps, she started a bit behind on the lead pack, on the second part of the lead pack, on the first uphill of the first lap, and then on the second uphill of the first lap, she changed her pace, got into first position, and managed to pass the relay in first position to Michele Boscacci. And on the second lap, also, she managed it really well.
And if I am not much mistaken, Italy will keep the title. Will win the title in the nations ranking. Switzerland stays in second, Spain in third, followed by Germany and Austria. And this is in the nations rankings. Those are my unofficial sums. I am not known for my mathematical abilities, so we will wait to see. But in terms of today's race, Spain takes the win ahead of Italy, France, Austria, Germany and Switzerland. We are still waiting for the other 5 teams to finish, but there are the main contenders. Now that's a nice way to end the season, with your teammate and your partner in life on the podium together, Thibaut Anselmet and Célia Perea-Pessé from France. Alba Di Silvestro and Michele Boscacci, also partners in life. They are married and on the podium again. A very successful pairing from Italy. And taking the win today, they are the European, well, they were the European champions, and they we're on the bronze medal position in the Olympics. Ana Alonso Rodriguez and Oriol Cardona Coll of Spain back on the top step of the podium. What a way to finish the season for Ana Alonso after that terrible, terrible accident. And what a great season for all, for the whole Spanish team, in fact. Fantastic. Spaniards just being organised there by Jordi Miastre of the ISMF into getting us a quick interview. And I'd like to take this opportunity, I hope I don't get cut off, to say a massive thanks and congratulations to the athletes and officials retiring this season. It's been a last hurrah for the Olympians, Johanna Hiemer of Austria, Arno Lieta of Switzerland, and also from Switzerland, Patrick Perton and Deborah Chiaralo Marti, Florian Sautel of France, Stefan Knopf of Germany, and the 16-year veteran of the Spanish
Ana
team,
Alonso,
Marta
Oriol
Garcia.
Cardona, finally a great victory here for the last stage of the World Cup for Spain in the mixed relay. Quite an easy course, or not?
Yes, it has been a super nice course, very technical, the first uphill, and the second, the same of the yesterday sprint, so has been a difficult last race, but we are super happy about the victory.
Oriol, you opened the gas when you decided to open the gas. Miki Boscacci was there, but then on the last lap on the sprint race, you just go and go fast as possible.
Yes, we did all the race together until the last part, the last uphill. I tried to push a little bit more to open this gap and to secure the victory. And finally it worked. I wasn't that tired after yesterday, so I could push a little bit.
Congratulations for a great season for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ça va?
Oui, parfait.
Ana Alonso Rodriguez and Oriol Cardona Coll finishing the season on a high. And we're nearly finished, but I wanted to say one more thank you and congratulations. Last week, Canadian referee Brent Harris also hung up his SkiMo boots, and between him and the athletes I mentioned earlier, thank you. Your combined contribution to the sport cannot be underestimated, and on behalf of everyone in the SkiMo community, we thank you and wish you all the best in future careers and family life, especially Johanna, Deborah and Marta, who've combined elite sport with motherhood. No easy feat. Here is the mixed relay rankings as they just shot past me as I was yakking, but I think we can safely say that Italy took the title there and won that quite convincingly. What a fantastic season. It has been a fantastic day of racing here in Switzerland, fitting finale for the 2026 World Cup season. Victory today for Italy and taking the overall nations rankings. Mireia, thank you so much for joining me. That's it from us this year, and we will be back next season. Keep an eye on the ISMF socials and the website for news of future Olympic inclusion and for the 26-27 schedule. As we say goodbye to Johanna Hiemer from us, from the Austrians, from the entire SkiMo community and all those people that I mentioned earlier. It is a goodbye from us and a goodbye from them, from Mireia and myself. Bye-bye.
Fantastica. A great round of applause.
they will be very expensive.
Oriel Cardona has overtaken Paul Verbniak.
Fitness, power and control.
Another win.
That is not all we are here for. This is an Olympics test event.
Committed to the evolution of ski mountaineering, now and for the future.